Okay, so now that you've had a chance to kind of see how common these questions reappear, we're going to tackle these one by one. So we're going to focus first on slope fields, okay? Now, what I want you guys to understand is generally for FRQs, okay, on average, and then again, it kind of depends on how well you do on multiple choice, right? But on average, every FRQ is worth 9 points, each FRQ. And if you're scoring at least 3 to 4 points out of the 9, you are in good shape to getting at least a 3. Okay? So even if you get 6 points wrong out of the 9, if you can earn at least 3, you're in a good spot. So just keep that in the back of your mind there. All right? Okay, here we go. Slope fields. So I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll do a few until you guys get the idea. So now here, since we have the slope fields graph already there, we'll draw it on there just to make it easier. But for all other problems, we might have to do it on a separate sheet because as you can see, we don't have a lot of space. All right. So the one thing that you have to keep in mind here is relative or relativity. Okay. You want to make sure that if you have two different slopes that are positive, if one is larger, you want to make sure that it's visually steeper, so meaning more vertical. I'll talk about that. So here we go. So just to refresh, how do we sketch a slope field? You pick points. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points here indicated, okay? So you pick one. I'm going to go ahead and start with 1, comma 0 right there. So at 1, comma 0, if I plug that into my differential equation here, I will get 1 plus 0 over 1, which is 1. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a positive slope. Okay. Let me go ahead and move on to 2 comma 0. So if I plug that in, I get 1 plus 0 over 2, which is 1/2. 1/2 is positive, but not as large as 1. So it's not going to be as steep. It's going to be more shallow, so more horizontal. So however you drew this slope, this one here has to be less steep. So I'm going to make it more horizontal, okay, but not exactly horizontal because then that would be a 0 slope. So it's all about relativity here, okay? However you were drawing the other one, this one here has to be definitely less steep or more shallow. Let's keep going. 1 comma 1 here is definitely 1 plus 1 over 1, which is 2. 2 is the largest positive slope I have here, so it has to be visually steeper, so more vertical, okay? And then you keep going, okay? So 1, negative 1, I'll keep going here. That's going to give me 1 plus negative 1 over 1, which is 0. So it's going to be a horizontal line because that's a 0 slope. Negative 1 will give me the same thing, a 0 slope here. And negative 1 comma 0, that should give me, what does that give me? Negative 1. Negative 1 comma 1. And you guys could definitely pause the video here if you want to try it out on your own, okay? Negative 1 comma 1 will give me, looks like negative 2, so steeper than the previous one, but going downwards, okay? And negative 2 comma 0 should give me negative 1/2, so negative but more shallow, more horizontal. And there you have it. Takes a little bit of time, okay? But here's the important part. If you go all the way down to the scoring guidelines, right here, 2006, okay, take a look at how they grade it. And this is the important part. You want to know how you can earn your points the easiest. This is where the strategy comes in. So here it says 2. Every scoring guideline is a little bit different. Like here, it was split up into 2 different points. Whereas this one, it was split up well, it actually wasn't split up. It's either 2 or it's nothing. You don't get partial credit here based on the scoring guidelines. So it says you get 2 points for the sign of the slope at each point, relative steepness in rows and columns. So this is either a 2 or nothing problem. Very easy to do. There's your 2 points already. All you need is 1 more point to be in good standing. Remember, shooting for at least 3 points out of 9. Right there, you already got 2. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and try one more with you guys. Go ahead and pause here and do 2005 Form A on your own. And press play when you're ready. Okay, so there are some shortcuts to this. So for instance, I noticed that when x is 0, the slope will come out 0. So whenever x is 0, that means you're on the y-axis. So I know I'm going to get horizontal slopes here. Okay. The 8 remaining points, we're just going to have to work out. So at 1, 1, and you can decide to write this out or not, but all they're going to do is they're just going to look at your slope field. They're not going to look at your work, okay? But I'm going to write it out just to show you guys. So 1, 1 should give me -2, okay? Which is a negative slope that's steep. So I'll draw something like that. 1, 2 would give me, -1. So negative, but not as steep, so more horizontal than the previous one. 1, -1, that'll give me +2, so positive and steep. And 1, -2 would give me a +1, so positive, but not as steep. Okay, and then we go ahead and do the other one. So -1, 2. -1, 2 will give me, +1. Okay. -1, 1. That'll give me +2. So definitely steeper than the previous one. -1, -1 will give me something negative. It's looking like -2. So negative and really steep. And -1, -2. That'll give me something negative, and then it's a 1. So negative, but not as steep as the previous one. Okay? Obviously, when you do this on your own, it's going to be a lot faster. Okay? But here's the important part. The grading. When you guys have a good idea of how they grade it, that is how you truly earn your points easily. Okay? Here's 2005. The scoring guidelines here are set up differently. It's still 2 points, but notice how they split it up into 2 different parts here. Meaning, you could earn partial credit. So they're saying that if you just get all of the 0 slopes that we had right here, you would get 1 point. Boom. And if everything else was right, you would get that 2nd point. Okay? So regardless, 2 points, very easy to get. That's at least the 2 out of the 9, so you just need 1 more point to be in a good why am I missing my words here? You're in a good spot, okay, to passing the AP exam. Okay, so we're going to stop there. For all the slope fields that I did not cover, you want to make sure that you do these on your own. So anything that I don't cover in the videos, you guys are responsible for. So there are other slope field problems, but go ahead and do those, all right?